All right, so Lynn wanted me to talk a little bit today about the values of the production studio. I'm sure those of you who've been here before have heard my spiel about this, but it's always a useful reminder that what we're doing here in the production studio directly translates to what you're going to be doing at a job, not only in kind of the environment we have here working on projects, but as well as the way that you're going to be interacting with team members, the way that your work on a project is going to alter people's perception of you and their desire to work with you. And also it's where you're building a lot of the connections that will help you get a job in the industry. I can say from personal experience that the reason I got my first paid gig working in games was because of this production studio. And a lot of the people that we hired onto that project were hired onto that project because of how they acquitted themselves in this class. Likewise, there are folks that I will never hire or stick my neck out for because of how they acquitted themselves in this class. So that's something that's very important to keep in mind. Don't let yourself fall into the trap, because we fall into the trap when we're in high school. Of, oh, this is all high school stuff. I don't need to put effort into it. It doesn't matter. It's not reflective of the real world. And then we get to college, and often we have that same, oh, this is still, I'm learning, and I don't need to put a lot of effort into this, and I don't need to take this seriously because I'll act completely different when it comes to working at a real job. And then you get to a real job and you act and behave the same way that you did both in high school and college. We like to tell ourselves this lie that, oh, when it's for real, we're actually going to put a lot of effort into it, but that's absolutely not true. How you're doing in this class, how much work you're putting in, how dedicated you are, that is how you are going to be when you're actually at a job. So don't let yourself kind of continue to believe that lie that we all told ourselves at one point or another. And again, like I said, I got my job because of this, my first paid gig because of this class. Other people got paid because of this class. The perception that the people on your team have of you is very important, as well as the perception people on other teams have. So you always want to make sure that you're doing your best work so that way you're pushing that forward. Because like today when we're doing a build review, and the leads mention who's working on what pieces, and if you have the really impressive pieces of your project, ideally all of them are really impressive, but when we're calling out who's done what and what are we proud of, if your name is coming up a lot, that means that even people who don't directly work with you are going to know, hey, that person is good at what they do. So, I'm working at this studio and we're looking for this position. I don't know anybody in my direct friends group or coworkers group that would be good for that position, but I remember hearing about this other person that was at the production studio who was really good. I'll give them a call, see if they'd be interested, and maybe set something up. And that's how you're going to get jobs in the industry. That's how you're going to get other people that you want to work with jobs in the industry. So that's just kind of an important thing to keep in mind throughout this entire process. And then we are starting with me. Makes sense. Yeah, let's pull up there. There we go. Okay. Hello everybody, I'm Donald Shepis. I am the team lead for Gray Area. And so for these first few weeks, for this first milestone, we've had some, honestly, the thing I can say most about this first 3 weeks is that our first 3 weeks this semester were an improvement on the first 3 weeks we had last semester. As usual, during the first 3 weeks, it's a lot of onboarding, getting people hooked into your tools, and trying to figure out, okay, we have this team, we have these people with these types of skills, what can we get done this semester? And last semester, we spent all 3 weeks just primarily focusing on getting everybody up and running, working with proper Scrum, and getting them hooked into all the tools and everything. And we weren't able to do a whole lot of actual content that we wanted to actually see in play. So in addition to onboarding our new team, we also wanted to integrate a new plugin that we got, Gaia, which is an improvement on the Unity terrain system, so we'll be able to do a lot more interesting things in our levels, as well as cleaning up the test code we have and kind of getting more solid documentation. We had very haphazard documentation last semester. Kylie spent all this time creating a really thorough style guide and art Bible that we can use. So now when we are trying to figure out, oh, how many polys do we need to have this object be, or how should we handle the texture naming for this? We have the solid answers as opposed to us coming up with an answer on the spot, forgetting about it, and then a few weeks later when we need to do that again, coming up with a different answer that didn't line up. And so that's going to help us in the long term, making sure that everything is running smoothly. And that's all kind of the type of stuff that we worked on last semester, but in addition to that, we were able to get a lot of concept art done. We have a wonderful art team this semester with a bunch of art interns supporting us in the class. And so one of the things that Doug and Daryl really wanted to see was a lot of concept art. This is a lot of stuff that they can throw up on a website. And it just kind of, it also makes them feel good because they get to see, you know, what are we going to be making for the game? How do these things that we've only been talking about in these references to these stories, what's it actually going to look like? And so we've got numerous pieces for environments, for characters. We've even got stuff that's kind of trying to figure out, you know, we have this fictional alien character that, you know, some people have described, but they're conflicting accounts. How do we take all that information and turn it into one solid piece that we'll actually be able to use in the game? And then, let me pull it up. We were able to do a little bit of work in our build properly. Again, we have a very good starting point going into this semester, and we're kind of, there's a couple of building blocks that are very important that a lot of our gameplay systems are based on. And one of the major things that we've been trying to kind of iron out is our targeting. Because when it comes down to it, every single thing that the Gray is going to do to a character or an object is going to be based on our targeting system. And again, so in addition to just kind of the sheer number of admin tasks and getting people onboarded and working with Axosoft and get Kraken and get Flow, we're able to get a little bit of extra functionality in. So right now, I am able to, if he doesn't run away, and again, this is all still work in progress, as a lot of the stuff you're going to see today are. So we're still trying to work out some of the bugs, you know, like we're using Cinemachine for our camera controller, and so when you start messing with Cinemachine's control of the camera, it can get a little wonky. But if I catch up to this guy, I'm now able to press E and I'm locked onto him. Still have a little bit of struggles just with the camera wanting to fight me a little bit, but now we've got that kind of Zelda-style Z-locking and pretty much the setup for us to actually start using our gameplay interactions. Again, it's a little bit, but you know, Rome wasn't built in a day, and it's the first step on a lot of positive progress for us this semester. Thank you for your time.
Hello everyone, my name is John Cavassi. I'm the lead for Dawn of the Dreadnoughts, and yeah. It's in the downloads folder. Alright, so this week a lot of stuff got done, actually more than I was hoping, so I'm very proud of my team. Originally we started off with wanting to go in, clean up the code, get more of a programming doctrine so that all of our programmers know the structure of how we're going to code everything so that we end up with less spaghetti code. That got done, a special thanks to Nate Scott, who did an amazing job cleaning up the code, turning something that was extremely scary in the inspector into something that's just immaculate. Along with that, we also got a bunch of new gameplay improvements, yeah, but instead of talking about it, I'm just going to show you. So we've got the same menu. The sound's not working, but that's not what got done. So the first thing you'll notice is we got turret tracking. So special thank you to my programmer Anthony. Our turrets now track, and along with that, our movement system has also been worked on as well, so now we can move in all directions. And so yeah. There's still a lot to do. Plan to go in more with the RTS stuff, get that really working. But for our first sprint, I'm very proud of what got done, and yeah, also the guns on the other ship track you as well. So that's really it.
development project lead for Life or Death, and my name is James Fisher. Well, we worked on heavy this. I got you. Man, it always gets me. My face. What we worked on heavy this semester. This sprint was getting in a nice framework for our AI, also fixing some of the animations we had and the combos. And right here, as you can see, the AI not only comes at you and tracks you, it does attack. Not only is it just attacking, though, it's actually going through a weighted process, going through all the animations, the attack animations it has, and then making a choice to use which one it has. Not only do we have that, we fix the animations, so now when you run, you don't look as crazy. The combos are a lot better, and we also can lock on, and that also changes the way your character moves and everything, and also how they attack towards the target. Those are the big changes we work towards getting here, and that's it. Thank you. You guys have a good one.
Hello, I'm Marcos Escobar, and I'm the lead for Rift Wars. For this past sprint, since we did start off with absolutely nothing to work off of in terms of an actual build, we were able to get a build ready for this sprint. We were actually able to get a build prepared to an extent, thanks to our amazing programmers that we have on our team. So right now we have the bare bones system that we're working with. The cards don't really snap to anything, but they are fully functional. They have attacks and they have health. So if I were to take this card and smack it against this one lost health based off the attack of the card I just smacked against it. Same with this one. And as you can see, everything keeps changing. So now we have the basic building blocks that we need to work with, and as we continue on with the rest of the semester, we're hoping to continue building upon this game and put all the finer elements and all the nice details and fine-tuning that the game needs to get it up and running correctly. And that's it.
Hello everyone, my name is Dakota Stoner. One sec. Project leader, Kings of Graffiti. So this week this past sprint we've been working on integrating Photon into our project because everybody tells me it's so much better than UNet and all that. So going with it, we don't have it fully integrated. We're almost done with it, but it's right on the verge. So a couple other things we worked on. We can now walk around as the human controller and get in the tanks, drive around. I want to shoot, but I don't want to because that was loud last time. Okay. Yeah, so able to get back out and run around. Need to work on the tank a little bit more. Should have drove over here. Don't remember where I put the buildings, but we have been working on getting the control point system in, so you're able to walk up and tag buildings, and it adds scores. We're going to be working on cleaning that up more and being able to have UI that will tell you which direction the control points are at and all that. So, yeah. Thank y'all.
Hello everyone, I'm Jerry. I am the lead for Looters of the Arcane. We ended up getting a decent amount of work done. What I ended up doing was, instead of trying to add new mechanics, almost all of the new designers that we brought onto the team, I had them get started on playtesting and finding areas that we needed to improve immediately. We also added in sound. That's a little bit too loud. Okay, so yeah, we added in a good amount of sound because we do have a sound design team now too. So the music is Ian's, and then the bass sounds are one of the members of our sound design team. We're going to start getting in some actual voice lines here shortly. We changed up the UI just a little bit here, and then the actual UI inside the game is a lot different. We ended up moving some of the bass pieces around, so now it's a little bit less in your face and it's a little bit larger, so it's easier to see on all types of screens. And then we also changed some of the smaller locations. For instance, low ammo now appears above the ammo, no ammo appears above the ammo, and then when you're picking up items, that's a little bit different as well too. The color scheme also changed. So instead of the red, we changed it to a more light shade of blue. And the sounds kind of bring together an eerie feeling, along with the enemies having that whisper sound, which adds on top of what we already have pre-existing. Leave me alone. We already have pre-existing. And coming up next is Feudal Japan. We have the white boxed out level when we wanted to get that done as soon as possible. That way we can start integrating assets a little bit faster than we did last time. So we're kind of trying to streamline our level development process. So instead of us needing to add in the art, we'll only need to add in the programming. Thank you for your time.
Hello, I'm Todd Dickinson, project lead for SiegeBots. So as most of you know, or at least those of you familiar with the project, one of our biggest challenges for getting the players to find the fun was the confusion and lack of accessibility to understand what's going on exactly. So one of the things we did was we abstracted some common systems from movement and combat and kind of created an action that does those things for you, just so that you can get into the game faster. This mouse has low sensitivity. This is a test area that Scott's been working on, kind of just different styles of space and narrow passageways, so we can test what's good for building future levels and things like that based on the bots available. So these are some bots that are using that new abstracted system to kind of control their AI, and you might notice that it's a lot smoother and less randomly and confusing than it was before. And that's primarily what we've been working on, is kind of making the flow from beginning to end smoother and more user-friendly. So thank you.
Alright, good morning everyone. My name is Rocky Vargas. I'm the project lead for Communication Meltdown. So this entire sprint was spent mostly working on the decontamination room and updating the game to 2018 Unity. That was a real challenge for us. We ended up putting a ton of hours in the very first couple weeks just to get it back to where we started last semester. So I'm going to go ahead and play the video. This is just going to showcase that we have brought the game back to roughly where we want it.
Oh, you're throwing something at me? Okay.
The fun factor is definitely still there. And this is the contamination room. We're actually going to have a bunch of smoke effects and stuff going on just to show that the player is actually decontaminating. Once you go through this door right here, it's actually going to be a cutscene. We're going to be working on that this next sprint. That cutscene is going to show that the players are going inside the reactor. And then this is just to show the core gameplay loop is once again working. If you press the wrong button and you press the authentication button, then it's not going to work out.
That wasn't right. It wasn't red. Sorry,
and then he turns the valve, which is the right authentication, and then he hits the button, and it's authenticated. And then this last little bit is just them being goofy. I thought this was really funny to add in. Mike almost broke my controllers, by the way. It looked like this. It reminded me of this, so that's what I added. And that's everything.
All right. Let's see. Is this on my face? Looks like it's probably not. Good morning, everyone. It's not me. Where is me? There we are. My name is, oh, that's also not me. Start in the very beginning. My name is Tyler Cook. I am the team lead for the JA game. Working title's Project Elephants. If there's an elephant in the room, you can't ignore it. So that's our working title for now, because we can't ignore it. So what's JA? Really quickly, Junior Achievement is our client-based serious educational game this semester. Our goal is to gamify JA's 100 years of proven success at teaching financial literacy to kids. So basically, we are taking their high school and middle school programs and gamifying it. We want to teach the kids how to adult in a fun way. So, over the last 3 weeks, we have been doing pre-production. Clients came to us with absolutely nothing but an idea. So it's been a lot of design. Right now, we have an idea for 3 unique towns. It's going to be a lot of resource management and events. Client asked for some life bombs, so we're teaching these kids how to adult in life, and so things happen in life that you can't avoid. Things like your car breaking down. And so that's the kind of stuff that we want to incorporate in here, and then obviously in real life you need to manage your food and your water and that kind of stuff. So those are all things we want in here. And then an economy system will be included as well. In the real world, you have to make money. You have to manage a budget. Those are all things that also need to be incorporated in the game to make it more realistic and teach the kids, you know, about the real world. You can see on the screen a few paper maps that the designers have come up with. The one on top is going to be kind of an overview travel map, so you can see kind of the towns laid out on there. And then the bottom is going to be a town map that has kind of the UI that's going to be laid out on the screen. And so that's an overview of our maps. Some more maps here, some more ideas that we've come up with. The one that's a little bit difficult to see on the bottom is another outline of our town, some more ideas there. And that continent map is going to be over on your other side to kind of see, so over in here, what terrain could look like and what our biomes could be, because we do want to have specific biomes that do affect the way the world works. All right, so art style. A lot of this is still to be determined. We are working with clients, so we are at the mercy of clients. So right now, because we don't have an art team, hint, hint, if you're an artist and you want to come work for us, we'd love to have you. So right now we're going to be working in 2D with pixel art just because it is the easiest to do with no artists. We are working on the idea that it will be a medieval fantasy game, but again, that is beholden to the client's wishes. Again, bit size is to be determined as well. We are drawing a lot of our inspiration from Oregon Trail. So it is that kind of serious moving game. So that's kind of our working art style. So where are we going? Right now we just kind of need to finalize those core concepts with our client, make sure that we are all on the same page. And then scope. So a lot of this is figuring out scope. We are presenting them with a full prototype of this game before the end of the semester. It's going to be a mobile application, so there's a lot of unique things that go along with that, like optimization. And so then from there, we're going to create our asset list, our full asset list, and the project in Unity, because we don't, we need to get that started, and there are, once we figure out the UI, and are we doing for Android or WebGL and all that other stuff, that needs to get created. And then finally, we got to get started. We got to get started making art assets and programming and developing, and so that's where we're at. And so thank you very much for your time, and we look forward to showing you what we've got next time.
Hello everyone, my name is Nathaniel White, and I will just be representing the ACS group today. So, because we're all ACS and not game majors, we really had the option to build anything we wanted. We were thinking financial app or educational game or something along those lines, but in the end we went for real-time strategy. So, I don't know if a lot of you play Age of Empires, but we are pretty big fans. So our main idea was, let's build an RTS, sort of like Age of Empires, but with a new twist on it, a lot of new functions, and let's do it completely from scratch. So over this milestone, along with everyone else, there was a lot of time getting familiar with the team, setting up, and especially because we're not that familiar with Unity as opposed to some other teams. We don't have any experts. We just have sort of people we've used it a couple times. The four things we worked on mostly were the grid system. Because we're building this from scratch, you really have to go from the bottom up because there's so many systems that just depend on each other. Yes, as you can see. Scenery. So dynamic terrain objects. Everything extends from the same entity class. So resources, what can be targeted, what can't be targeted. So it's very convenient in that sense. See little tree objects. As you can see, they're all sort of the same at this point. We don't have any artists on our team, so if there are any artists out there who just want to do the entire work for a game, it'll be all your work pretty much. Yeah. The camera, isometric camera, and movement with building selection. So this one's pretty cool. Again, we're really going for that same Age of Empires RTS look and feel. And then state persistence. I was really amazed that we got this done in the first sprint, but everything can be saved to a JSON and loaded back, so we can save game states. I didn't think we'd get that done, but it was really impressive. I have a great team. And then for the build, doesn't look like much, but again, we were really going from the ground up, and after this first milestone, we have everything that we'll need to go from here and really go much faster because the game basic mechanics are in there. So that's all for our presentation. Thank you.
All right, it's pretty exciting to have the other degree programs join us this semester. Also, let's give a round of applause to our online and all of your hard work. Here you are. Please go ahead and stay in here, and I'd like to invite Tony and Depsbury to join us as well as we look forward to our next sprint planning. Keep in mind that functionality, and we're going to continue with fun factor into that sprint as well, so keep that in mind as you're planning today, if you have any remaining planning to do. And Derek, you look like you have something to say.
Nice job. Obviously the first sprint is always a challenge because you're doing onboarding, you're getting your tech up and running and things like that. I'll echo what Lynn just said. If you haven't already done it, the next sprint should really be concentrating on what is the most core important aspect of your project. So is it the gameplay, is it whatever it happens to be. Like we like to say, the 4 F's, fail fast and follow the fun, right? You can't know if it's fun until you play it. It was interesting because I got to the privilege of going in and talking to Tony's group, and we were kind of talking about, you know, okay, you're building this from scratch, what should you work on first? And the flow of an RTS is very much you build your building, the unit comes out, you fight them, but the flow of development is do the fighting first and then work your way back. So now they've got their terrain up and running and things like that. That way you can not waste your time building stuff that you don't need. So always be concentrating on that. I think all the projects seem to have a good base to build gameplay off of, right? So whether it's Rift Wars and getting cards in and building the interactions, or the targeting system and things like that, I think you guys are all sitting at the spot where the next step now is play fun and finding that core aspect that makes the game awesome. So nice work. I am good.
Want to say a word about the jam?
Yep, 5:30 tonight in the theater. We will be starting the game jam, and then obviously on Sunday there will be the judging.
Snacks are provided. There's an Eventbrite. If you follow me on Twitter, I've got the Eventbrite link up on my Twitter account. It'll kind of talk about different things like that. If you are not a UAT student, our cafe will be open in the middle of the night to sell you pizza and wings. So that is available. And then I believe it's Steam gift cards is the awards that they're giving out, or the prizes they're giving out on Sunday. I will probably see you on Sunday because I think I'm a judge. I think I'm coming in to judge it. So, yeah, everybody's welcome. So, I mean, if you're on the East Coast, it might be difficult to get to. But it is a public jam as well, although this one does tend to be mostly UAT students. If you are jamming, and I highly encourage it, it's okay to work with your existing teams. A lot of teams like to do that. It's okay to break out, work with a different team. If you see a lost soul wandering about that's just kind of like doing this, like, I wonder what they're doing over there, invite them over, be engaging. They're probably a freshman. We have 4 Game 125 classes that we've been just pushing and pushing and pushing to get them to go to this jam. So a lot of them are going to be a little, I don't want to say intimidated, but they've never done it before. They don't know a lot of people yet. So yeah, invite them over. Some of them might just want to watch, you know, but try to get them involved. Think back to when you did your first jam, and if somebody would have grabbed you and put their under their wing, it is definitely helpful. So, and then maybe, could you win as a freshman? Maybe freshmen will show you guys all up. They are a lot smarter than you guys. So. Just saying. But yeah, please participate. Like I said, it's good mental floss. It kind of cleans out your first week or your first sprint, lets you do something different, and then you come back and hit it hard next week.
Cool. All right, artists that are subcontractors, if you are here because I've invited you, please find me this afternoon. Come out and play test. We want to get you connected. As you've heard, artists are highly desirable this time around, so you might have a bidding war for your talents. Please come out and make sure that you get connected today, and also think about jamming with that team this weekend.
Yep. Leads in here right after this meeting. What time do we have the test scheduled for?
I believe it's 3:30.
Make sure that you're doing that. I know the JA team has a client meeting at 3, so you guys go do that. But yeah, get the builds up. Also, if you're a new lead, either talk to me or the existing leads. We have a network share where we put all of the builds and track them. We can walk you through that. It's pretty easy to do. That way we can start to put them out on the cafe as they get to a point where feedback is appropriate. All right, bye online, bye teams. Good work. Nice first